I can do this. Oh, okay. 1 second, sorry. Okay, just like Samantha's parents used to. They watched the videos of her mother together, and Samantha passed away. Okay, I can do this. Wow. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. All right. Okay, let's. I have 200. These are all just if you're just joining. These are all stories I wrote. I'm a writer. I love reading. I love writing. So, if you like the story, go ahead and do follow. And but let's just start with the next one and see what you guys think. All right, so 200 stories. Next one, close to home. The forest was always a magical place for Jimmy. He had read stories about fairies and elves and unicorns living in them. But his parents would never allow him to go wandering off on his own. Why didn't they just give him more freedom to do what he wanted? It's not like anything was gonna happen. I mean, there was nothing really dangerous in that forest anyway, right? Jimmy had already made his decision. This weekend would be the time, and he packed his backpack with all the snacks he would need, including his favorite chocolates, a map, his phone, and if anything went wrong, he could just use his phone. So he waited for the right time on that Saturday, made sure the coast was clear, and he was off. The forest entrance was right in his own backyard. He thought he had seen lights in the forest sometimes. They had to be magic. There was no other explanation. Maybe he would even meet a unicorn. How cool would that be? He would definitely make a video of that with his phone. He made his way into the forest and found it was a little harder than he thought at first. You see, because if there is no actual path made, you have to cut through a lot of bushes and trees and high grass, and some of it had thorns. Ouch, who knew? Well, so far no sign of anything interesting. He'd been going for 2 hours, trying to find something. He found a few tracks, but didn't know what they belonged to, but it probably didn't matter. I mean, did his parents even know he was gone? No one was calling him on his phone. Oh well, that meant everything was fine. He just kept on going and going. But he was getting hungry, so it was time for some chocolate. Well, it was delicious. Out so far from anything else, no one could tell him what he had to eat. He could eat anything he wanted. He could argue with chocolate bars. The sweeter, the better. Okay, now for some apple juice, and let's get back to it. He fought through some more bushes and found a river. He thought it would be too dangerous to cross here. Maybe I can find out how far this river goes on my phone, he thought. He opened up his phone for the first time. What's this? There was no service here. He was not able to access the internet or any data at all. Well, maybe he could just follow the path around the river and it would eventually take him somewhere. Maybe if he got into more trouble, a fairy would come out to rescue him. What was that? He heard some branches break in the distance. There was something alive out there. He stopped moving to stare. It was harder to see though because it was slowly getting dark. He would need his flashlight soon. After some moments he saw it was a deer, but then it was gone. Was it a magical creature? He wasn't sure, but he tried to follow it. He kept after it for some moments and then realized he had lost its trail. It was just too fast. This was hard. Maybe he should just turn back. Possibly he could find something on the way back to his house. He trekked on and on. He used his flashlight to be able to see, but then he realized a few things. First, it was scary at night in the forest by himself. Second, it would be impossible for him to be able to find where he came from in the dark. What's more, He had only eaten chocolate, so besides being exhausted, he also felt kind of sick. Maybe wandering into the woods by himself wasn't such a good idea after all. It seemed like the only reason no one was calling him was that he was too far to get any service on his phone, not because anybody didn't care about him. If he was only home right now, he could be having a nice dinner with his family and get ready for bed. But here he was, lost. And man, these mosquitoes were really getting to be too much. He was just about to lay down and cry when he heard a sound from the sky above. It sounded like a helicopter. He pointed his flashlight at it and waved. Maybe they would be able to see his flashlight in the darkness. He waved and waved, and then the sound became even louder. The helicopter came closer and closer and then landed nearby. It was his parents. They were so glad to see him. Oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional again. Breathe. Okay. These are all stories I wrote. It was his parents. They were so glad to see him. He could be in trouble later, but for now, Jimmy was rescued. They spent the next half an hour flying home in the darkness with the help of an expert pilot. Wow! How had his dad got hold of a helicopter pilot? Jimmy had never flown in a helicopter before. When Jimmy got home, he was so embarrassed about what had happened. He learned his lesson. Life was better lived together, with the strength and help of others rather than alone. If there were adventures to be had, they were better done in the company of adults. It looks like they were right all along. Jimmy was in trouble and couldn't leave his room for a month. But instead of being too hard on him, the family decided to make more time for everyone by going on hikes in the forest. They all had a deep love of nature, and although they never found any real fairies or elves in the forest, they didn't have to worry about fighting through bushes or losing their phones or eating poor quality food. Jimmy had learned. Life was better lived under the guidance and love of his parents, and he never wandered off again. It ended up okay in the end, and the love for his family only grew stronger. The end. Okay, hope you guys liked that. It's my second story. Amazing. Oh, thanks. Okay.